Wow, that's a tough act to follow. Um, so first, thank you for the opportunity to speak here tonight. There's some interesting parallels between mine and Sola's story, which will be evident in a few minutes, I hope. So there were two events on the afternoon of March 31st, 2008, that changed my life forever. First, I found out I was accepted to Penn after frantically hitting the refresh button a couple hundred times on the family computer. And second, after my family had calmed down, 15 minutes later, when I found out that I could afford to attend the University of Pennsylvania. I can think of no better word than opportunity, the same word President Gutmann used to describe what the scholarship ceremony is all about, to describe the last 4 years here. And I would like to thank the undergraduate named scholarship program for the opportunity to speak tonight about how financial aid has helped me to get to where I am today. This story, my story, like Sola's, starts with an incredible woman who I'm happy could join us here this evening, my mom, Carol Brockman. Growing up in Warminster, an hour north of Philadelphia, my mom instilled in me several life lessons that continue to drive me today. The importance of education, hard work, service to others, and most importantly, finding a career that one is very passionate about so that work isn't really work, but fun when you go to work each and every day. Most of these lessons came by way of example. By day, my mom worked full-time as a teacher's assistant at my elementary school, Centennial School District in Bucks County. And at night, she went back to school after being a nurse for several years for her teaching degree to follow her second passion. At the same time, she helped my older brother through college, also to become a public school teacher, and raised me, probably no small task in its own, to, like Sola, as a single mother. Like most college students at Penn, I have occasionally lamented the late nights and long hours I have spent in Van Pelt writing my thesis, running student organizations, and applying for a multitude of jobs. However, looking back at my mom's schedule over that decade of my life, I think her schedule has had mine the last 4 years beat. Even more impressively, she has held me to the highest standards each and every day in school and in life along the way. Despite starting at the base of the pay scale as a new public school teacher, my mom still found the resources for me to get the most out of my time in high school. On a tight budget, she made it possible for me to travel abroad for 3 weeks to the Mediterranean one summer, an opportunity she still has not had herself. The trip proved transformative and sparked what I hope will continue to be a lifelong passion of mine, traveling the globe. With this newfound enthusiasm of traveling, I began my college search late in 2007. My mom's rule when we were looking at colleges was a simple one. I could go to whatever best school I could get into as long as we could afford it. Which brought me back to the scene I opened with, a bright March afternoon in Warminster when I found out I could afford to go to the University of Pennsylvania due to a named scholarship by some generous soul named Paul F. Miller Jr. and his family. Getting into Penn and being able to afford it made my college choice a pretty simple one. 6 months later, I enrolled in Penn and started as a systems engineering student interested in international applications for technology. You might have noticed that's changed. Although I enjoyed the challenging classes and labs in my time in engineering, my time abroad and current events at the time pushed me into something new and exciting, the world of politics. Like I'm sure many of you in this room, I got caught up in the 2008 presidential election, driving my family and friends nuts with every news story, primary, and major turn in the campaign. Around the same time, I was introduced to a student group on campus, the Penn Society for International Development, which allowed me to combine this newfound interest in politics with the international interest I had developed in high school. After a long winter break freshman year of thinking how I wanted to go about the rest of my time at college, I decided to switch from the engineering track and enter into this brave new world. and I really haven't looked back since. So 4 years later, here I am, on pace to graduate with honors with a degree in international relations, and still keeping a little bit with my engineering side, studying mathematics. I've had the opportunity to travel internationally twice through Penn. First, spending a summer in rural Ghana with Penn's international internship program, working for a small NGO called the Yonso Project. And then second, just 3 weeks after I returned home, on the other end of the living condition spectrum in Geneva, Switzerland, where I spent 4 months studying politics and wandering around the UN. I have been fortunate after this experience to work with Penn's wonderfully receptive staff at the Penn Purchasing Services to reform Penn's purchasing of technology around technology that is tied to human rights abuses in Central Africa, an experience that directly led to interning at the State Department in Washington, D.C. last summer. On campus over this time, I've had the chance to grow that little student group that I found when I was a freshman, Penn CID, into one of the biggest organizations on campus, and really came full circle this past spring, running an event downtown combining engineering and development issues, developing technology apps for NGOs around the world. So in short, it's been a crazy, rewarding, and exciting couple years in and out of the classroom. But I don't want to dwell on the things I've been able to accomplish. I want to focus on how financial aid made each step possible over the last 4 years. Without financial aid, spending consecutive summers in unpaid internships in Ghana or DC would be out of the question. Without financial aid and Penn's generous study abroad policy, there's no way I could have studied abroad in Switzerland. With less financial aid, perhaps I would have had to find additional jobs to supplement work study and would not have gotten as involved on campus. I don't think I would have found the same time to teach geography at a local charter school, mentor fellow international relations underclassmen, or even run Penn CID. Financial aid has not only made my education possible at Penn, but really allowed me to tap into the whole of the university has to offer. Perhaps most importantly, financial aid has made my post-graduation plans a simple decision. In the middle of June, I will be moving to East Africa for 2 years to work for a startup international development consulting firm that is working to revolutionize the way that different international aid programs are evaluated, improved, and delivered to the world's most vulnerable citizens. Without financial aid, I would not even apply for the job. I would be looking for a better paying option to pay down the massive debt I would have otherwise incurred. So, again, thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Paul Miller Jr., the generous couple who has made this all possible, who I've had the pleasure of getting to know over the last 4 years, and to everyone here who makes stories like mine and Solo's possible. It's really impossible to quantify the impact that financial aid has had on me and my peers. In return, I can only offer a pledge to continue to pay forward the opportunities bestowed on me over my last 4 years to those I hope to help around the world and in my own backyard over the course of my career. Thank you again for all that you do. It's been a pleasure speaking to you tonight.